Widget is
Howdy, folks! Widget Wallace from NeedCoffee.com here. Back again for another Wayhomer review for a film so large that I had to bring back up. It's Bailey in the driver's seat today.
Hello, world.
Hello, Bailey! Alright, for those of you who don't know what's going on, which is me at this point because I'm in the back seat, here's how it works for the uninitiated. We've just seen a film. We've left it back that way. We're already moving because I'm not driving, so I can talk straight to you. I love this. We should do this more often. Anyway, we've just walked straight out of the cinema, literally tinkled, and now we're in the car. We're going to tell you about the film on the way home. From the look of glee on my face, can you tell what we're here to talk about today? We're here to talk about the Avengers. Alright, so, synopsis. Chris, go! Don't stare at the camera, you gotta drive!
It was good. I'm a little more subdued than Wedge on most films, in case you ever noticed.
The glee! The glee is amazing. Alright, fine, I'll do it then. Synopsis is this. Basically, Loki, who you saw in Thor, who is a bad man, who actually has sort of a mullet, if you think about it, which automatically makes him evil, has some new friends, and has decided to come back to Earth to steal the glowing cube that was present in the Captain America movie. Ow! And basically, has an evil plan that is going to make him ruler of the Earth and bring him vengeance on his brother and the rest of Asgard and all the Earthlings and everyone else. And thus, a group of heroes must rise to stop him from this diabolical plot. And hijinks and lots of destruction and punching things ensues. Guest starring the Ticket Booth, which is part of Skynet. Alright, so there's your synopsis. Jesus, where do we start? Bailey, where do we start?
Well, actually,
you're the subdued one.
I am the subdued one. You know, one of the things I really liked about it was I thought the crescendo built the entire movie up until the end. It was well-paced.
It really was. It was well-written and well-directed. And amazingly enough, granted it was, what, 2.5 hours?
Give or take, yep.
Give or take, yeah. Alright. So 2.5 hours of film, it felt like a lot longer because it was so dense with stuff. And I didn't care that it felt longer, okay? I was very happy to be immersed in this world because let's take a moment, if we can, and just say that what we've seen is the first time anyone's done this, where they basically just said, I think I mentioned this in my lead up to the Avengers, where I was urging it, and please, if you do, in fact, I'll create a URL. It's going to be magic, like this, watch. Wing! It's going to be, you go to this URL, it's on the screen. I'll be more, subdued later, and I can actually come up with a URL. Urging you to go and watch, like, the first appearance of Thor, and the Incredible Hulk TV movie, and the Black Widow TV series that didn't happen. Really, you should go and watch these things to appreciate the movie that we've just seen.
Just how good this movie is.
Just how far we've come. Yep. Because, Bailey, you were around for this, you know.
Oh, yeah.
So, this is the first time that someone has actually decided to put together a movie universe, right? Out of different parts that come together. Now, you could have all kinds of arguments. You say Star Wars and Star Trek, you'd be wrong. You could say even stuff as silly as, like, you could have, like, Godzilla, but really that was more of a mistake. It's just like, let's spin this off and then make them fight. I mean, that's pretty much all there was. And I'm not even going to go into, like, Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein. I don't want to talk about it. This is the first time that someone's actually put together a movie universe where it all interconnects and it makes sense and it works. So that's kind of astounding. And what's really hilarious is that the first people to do it is a comic book company that doesn't remember how to do that in comic books anymore. I think that's fantastic. They've evolved into a film company that makes films better than their actual comics, which I think is sort of glorious and yet sad, but mostly glorious. At this time, at this day, it is glorious. So, what I would like to say, and Bailey, you could talk about this first, is I was amazed that there was screen time and something for everybody to do. For everybody. Pretty much everybody.
They actually did. There were no... I mean, even the characters that showed up for relatively small snippets, it worked. It made sense. It fit in. It wasn't like a shoehorn thing. And, you know, virtually every character you actually cared about at some point in the movie.
Right.
What they thought, what they did, why they did it.
And if we didn't write you a huge part, we'd just put you in really short shorts so we'd remember you.
Yeah.
You'll get that when you see the film. But no, I was especially pleased with what they did with the Black Widow. That was because you're sitting there going, okay, yes, you had to have, you know, forgive me for saying this, but you had to have a chick in the movie, right? You had to have a woman on the team. That's what everyone's thinking. You had to have one. And who's the only one? Well, you can't do Scarlet Witch because that's a little weird because you got the whole X-Men thing going on, and that's kind of how we're going to bring that in. Black Widow makes sense. We've already set her up in Iron Man 2. But how do you have her when you've got Thor and you got Captain America and you got all this stuff going on? How is she going to rank in with everyone else? And it actually worked. And it made a lot of sense. And she kicks some serious ass. So, but yes, you talk about the crescendo. You had the kind of the first act of setting things up and putting the team together, and then the team sort of blah, and then you have the third, I'm trying not to spoil anything, and the third act, because there's really, and here's the other thing, is that I was really concerned about, don't laugh at me, I am in ecstasy, this is fantastic, I'm having a geekgasm, I promise not to get anything on your seats. Anyway, so, I was concerned because the trailer was so amazing that you were just going to go, wow, they've blown their wad in the trailers. We've seen that so many times with films. You go and see, and the best part was in the trailers. No, there's plenty of cool stuff happening. So, what the hell was I just saying?
Well, you know what? Based on
Thank you.
The expectations. No, the expectations. I mean, when you think about the expectations going into this from a, not a fanboy, but somebody who understands the characters, I've read them most of my life. I mean, there was no place for this movie to go but down. And yet, it actually went up a little bit. And let me just stop and say, Josh Whedon can now do whatever he wants to.
You know what? You know what he's done? Is because Marvel is owned by Disney now, he's basically negated John Carter on the books, is what he's done. Which, again, means he can do anything he wants to do. Which means that, I hope... Andrew Stanton, I love you, Andrew Stanton. I hope you know that. I have such respect for you. I just hope you buy a nice fruit basket for Joss Whedon. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, but what I think is fascinating about this from a comic book geek perspective, which I consider myself to be, even though I have removed myself from Marvel Comics for my own sanity's sake, is that what this film has done is taken everything that you wished the Avengers originally were, okay? And then all the things that you liked about the ultimate version of the Avengers, and then everything that Bendis was doing properly with the new Avengers, basically took all the good bits of all of that and just put it into this nice gumbo and then served it to you in a nice supersized bowl and said, here, enjoy this with some rice and crackers. And you did, and you enjoyed it with rice and crackers, and it was fantastic. Really, the only thing that I had a problem with, they said, could you touch anything? I said, the only thing I can touch is Captain America's cowl. And this is a movie so good that stupid looking rubberized cowl that they put him in, when his costume was so perfect in the first film, that the new cowl, this movie was so good, I didn't care he was wearing it. That's how good a film this is.
What did you think of Mark Ruffalo's Hulk?
You know what? Here's the thing about the Hulk. This movie does more for the Hulk. Now, I hated Ang Lee's Hulk. Hated it. There was about 15 seconds of actual Hulk in Ang Lee's Hulk. Then Incredible Hulk was good, because I liked Ed Norton as Banner, and I thought that it was a huge step up. If that had been the first Hulk movie, then everything would have been different. But it was more climbing out of the hole that Ang Lee had created, okay? But this movie does more for the Hulk than those two movies put together. because there's this wonderful sense with both Ruffalo's performance and how everyone's performing around him. It's just like he's this bomb that's going to go off, which, in reality, in the Marvel Universe, Banner's a bomb that's going to go off. So it's, wow, you're actually treating the character the way they actually would treat the character. It's constant. Are you all right? Are you okay? Can we get you anything? Do you need some water? Are you all right? It's not stupid like that, like me doing it. It's actually much more subtle and subdued, like Bailey doing it. So, but no.
Yeah, I laughed at it.
The Hulk really handled well. Won't spoil how they get him on board, but it's just so wonderfully perfect. In fact, I think if of anybody, of the people who had, you know, who I would have wanted more to do, but they kind of played catch-up with him, was Hawkeye. But I thought they did that fairly well.
That's Jeremy Renner, right?
Jeremy Renner, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, the new Bourne. And the new, possibly, Mission Impossible guy. Who knows? So no, I was pleased. I was actually pleased with the 3D presentation of it. I thought that worked very well.
Didn't get in the way.
It didn't get in the way. I felt in some cases it actually enhanced it, you know, which for a live-action film is a rarity. You know, we saw it IMAX 3D. I would say go for the IMAX just for the size of the screen in a good IMAX theater. Make sure you see it in a good one. Don't go see it in a crap one. I won't mention any names because that would be indiscreet. Mall of Georgia. But make sure you see it in a good IMAX theater with a decent screen. And the 3D, take it or leave it. God, what else can we say?
Really tight dialogue.
Extremely tight dialogue.
And even the one-liners, they weren't like, you know, pardon me, the Arnold Schwarzenegger one-liners. They actually worked. They fit in. They were subtle.
Yeah.
They were nice.
No, and here's what's interesting, is that they were one-liners in a sense of someone who understands what comic book one-liners are, but yet makes them work in film. You know what I mean? There's certain comic book banter that makes no sense when you adapt it to another media, because obviously, I mean, you're reading it at a printed page with a static image, and you use the words to help make it move. But this is somebody who actually understands that he's adapting to another bit of media, which a lot of people don't, you know? So that was really nice. I actually think the other film that's going to do that well is Amazing Spider-Man, based on how Peter Parker talks in that. So that's something. God, I thought the effects were really good. I thought I thought that it was a nice balance of humor and action and actual serious stuff going on. And I actually think that overall, it is more than the sum of its parts. I mean, the films that got us here were all good. Some of them great, some of them excellent. But this film just blows them all away. It really does. God, I'm still coming down. Is there anything else we need to talk about? Help me. I'm so glad you're here. Someone's sane. Thank God.
Someone's sane.
Yes. I know it's weird for us to be relying on you for that, but you know.
No, I just...
He's the sober one.
Well,
I've been drinking.
Each of the characters stayed consistent through the movie. There weren't any change the character fit the plot, which I always hate. The dialogue fit the character, which I thought was... You know, that's always nice. And, you know, Captain America, he's a little bit more serious than Tony. But you know what? Tony Stark, but it works. Yeah.
And at no point did I ever slip and think, oh, well, that's you know, that's Robert Downey Jr. Or, oh, that's Scarlett Johansson or whatever. It was, they were taking it seriously. As seriously as one should such a film. But the film doesn't take itself so seriously that it pulls you out of it. Which is a nice balance to have. I mean, especially for a big, loud action film like this is. Sci-fi, fantasy, crazy action nonsense.
I will say in this movie that there were about 3 or 4 times when I looked at what was going on and thought to myself, that's a lot of your budget, and you used it well. I don't remember the last time I actually saw that many cars destroyed in a movie.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive. Well, I mean... Again, it goes back to, I mean, it's obvious, you saw this in the trailer, it's not spoilers. New York gets punched in the face, basically. But that's what happens in Marvel Comics pretty much, at least when we were reading them, about every other month. New York City would take it, right? And so you basically got that on the screen. I don't know. I am thoroughly satisfied. As I said on Twitter, I want to find Joss Whedon and give him a manly hug and buy him a beer. And not even a cheap beer, not even a half-assed beer. I'm talking a good beer, a nice solid beer, like a St. Bernardus 12, right?
That is a good beer.
A bomber of St. Bernardus 12, in fact.
Bomber,
we could split a bomber of St. Bernardus 12. That would be fantastic. Anyway, all right. What else do we need to talk about?
Go see it.
Yeah.
Not a matinee.
Don't look at the camera. You don't have to look at the camera. The camera sees you.
I'm trying to emphasize that point strongly.
Okay. Don't get us killed.
I will hit the car in front of us in order to tell you.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. This isn't the movies. We don't have the budget for that. Oh, God. All right. So, as the glow fades and some semblance of sanity returns until I let it come back out again, like the Hulk. Yes, the recommendation is, cup-wise. Cups. We got to do cups. What are your cup-wise? What do you think, cups? 5 cups out of 5 cups?
It's 5 cups.
I'm thinking 4.5, at least 5. You know, I'm at least 4.5, maybe 5.
Wait. You ding him for the cowl? That's the only thing you can find wrong with it, and you're thinking 4.5?
I only give 5 to absolutely flawless films. I will have to think about this. I'm not exactly rational right now. I need to come back to rationality, and then I will actually put a rating on it. I can do that. I'm allowed to do that through the rules of my own Wayhomerage.
What did you give Dark Knight Returns?
What did I give? What you mean, Dark Knight?
Yeah.
I gave it 4.5.
I'm sorry, Dark Knight. You gave that one 4.5? See,
yeah.
I would have given that one 4.5 too. I'd still give this one 5.
Yeah, no, I understand. And duly noted, but I need to sober up before I give this a cup rating for sure.
Yeah, I understand.
I really do. I am completely flying right now. I am like it's a geek high. So, you know.
Gotta come down off that buzz.
Never rate movies while you're, under the influence of geek films. All right. So, recommendation, I think I can speak for both of us when I say go see it. Catch a matinee if you can, especially this weekend. The earlier the better. There's a line forming for like the 3 o'clock, whatever it is, film, 4 o'clock that's coming up. Lines are forming all over because they've basically worked everyone in America up into a frothing coma over this because they released it 2 weeks early overseas. So anyway, there you go. Thanks as always for watching these, especially the insane, gleeful ones. It's so nice to have one of these. It's just, especially after watching The Raven, man, it just flushed it right out of my system. Anyway, so thanks so much for watching these. Special thanks to Bailey for driving and for basically grounding me in sanity. God, can you imagine if I was trying to drive home after this? This is like after a scotch tasting, you know? I can't drive. All right, so for those of you who like these things, please spread the word. Spread the word through Facebook or Twitter, or stumble upon your item of choice. I'm leaving it up to you this time. However you feel, if you enjoy it, hit the button on one of them and share it with the friends that you know or the enemies that you know. It really doesn't matter. We're equal opportunity either way. So until next time, this is me signing off from the Wayhomers. Bye. Say goodbye, Bailey.
Goodbye, Bailey. That wasn't very original.
Stop looking at the camera!
There's nobody for like half a mile in front of us. Calm down. I am not drunk off the movie. I can drive.